So I'm sitting here having my end of day decompress sesh, and I was just watching a video that made me think, very interesting. Yeah, this is important to consider. She talked about how there's that question that I think most of us get asked when we're kids by other adults, and that is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And usually that question is referring to what kind of career path do you want to have. And what I find fascinating is that that's one interpretation of the question. And so did this other creator. She said that there's other stuff that we need to consider. Instead of what do you want to be, it's who do you want to be? And of course, that led me down the path of thinking about what spiritual teachers and the like talk about when they discuss, you, who are you, what is you, right? And the way that we are socialized and programmed to answer the question, who are you, with the immediate response being, I'm a bus driver, I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a, right, whatever job you have, usually followed by your marital status, any children you have, grandchildren, people like that. And, it goes from there. I have this many siblings, I was from this place, and I blah, 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 right? None of those things are actually who we are at all. And it just stands out really, obviously to me. And right now, with things that have happened, she was inspired to make her video because of President Carter's death. And I think his funeral just happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. It is very recent. And his life is a good example of legacy, right? Because I think most people know, and if they didn't, they probably do now, that he has or had quite a trajectory post presidency in his life. He did a lot of stuff, and that was good for humanity. He stayed out of the limelight. He just went about doing the rest of his life the way that he wanted to do it, and it happened to be in a particularly impactful way, I would say. And that's where legacy comes in. And of course, it gets a person to thinking when they get to a certain age, gee, what kind of a legacy do I have? What will I be remembered for? And of course, that's pretty front of mind for me, because I feel like a lot of people will have a particular view of me, people who have known me for a long time versus people who I've met, let's say, within the last 4 years-ish. Because before then, I would say the legacy was, well, there wasn't one. It was just abandonment. I give up. I can't do this thing that they call life. And that might seem melodramatic or like an exaggeration, but it isn't. I had debilitating depression for a long time. It's now managed reasonably well, but for a long time it wasn't. And I was, as Sylvia Plath wrote, held together with glue. And in my case, that was, a lot of medications for just kind of propping me up. So people who knew me at that time would probably think, I don't know, if they thought about my legacy, right? Nowadays, I want people to think that I didn't give up, that I actually stopped giving up and tried. That might not seem very grand, shall we say, but it is, I think, for somebody like me, where I just felt so downtrodden by everything and everyone, and like I'd been just kicked too many times while I was down. And when you're in that kind of a place, the struggle is real to get out of that place. So the fact that I've been able to get out of that place gives me hope for the future, that maybe, just maybe, I can be known for something else, and not this perpetual person who gave up. I continue to try bringing in all of the things that I used to do at one time that really matter to me, and to try and become reacquainted with them and see what purpose those things can serve now instead of back then. A good example would be, of course, writing again. See, writing served a different purpose back when I was first doing it, when I was like first in university and things like that. I was not writing for pleasure. I was writing for catharsis and for vengeance sometimes. And in a lot of cases, it was just vitriol that was coming out, because I had all kinds of anger and depression and anxiety and confusion, and nowhere to, apparently anyway, in my mind at the time, nowhere to direct that energy other than onto the page. And so I did, and it produced a lot of work that is that. It's just angry and defeated. And I'm trying to not write that anymore. I'm trying to kind of turn a page, shall we say. And anyway, it's good food for thought to consider, who you are. What is you? And you are not a collection of stories, of job titles, of marital and familial status labels, religious standing, political affiliation, your physical features. Like, none of that is you. It's all just a construct. That's not you. You are consciousness. That's who you is. And I know it sounds funny to say that way, but that's who you is. You are a soul. Souls do not have identities. They do not have the ability to judge. They do not do anything but live through us. All of the judging and all of that stuff that we do is all mental. That's why we immediately think, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a cook, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a this and I'm a that, right? Because that's what we do. But in learning about these things and learning how, oh, I'm not just a bag of bones. Huh, interesting. It's because another thing that I learned, and I'm pretty sure I'm not unique in this, is that you're supposed to make choices kind of once in your life. There's kind of this sense of failure that we're told, or I was certainly kind of told to feel, if a major life choice needed to be revised. Let's say, just for ease here, walking away from marriage. Massive life choice that I made to be married in the first place. And I was so sure and so convicted in that choice, as I think many of us are when we choose to marry somebody. Obviously not all the time, but I was. I was convicted in this. And, you know, came from a traditional background. Once you get married, that's it. The only reasonable excuse is abuse and violence. That's a legit reason to, you know, walk away. That's okay. But anything short of that, I don't think so, you know. Of course, that's all hogwash anyway. I learned all these lessons when my parents were still married, and they are not married anymore, so that also helped too, was realizing, oh, the people who taught me and raised me also made changes in their lives. That doesn't make them bad people. So I'm not bad. Good. But there's other things too, you know, changing your career or going back to school if you wanted to, or whatever, you know. It's fine to change things around when they're not serving you, rather than forcing yourself to stay on this one trajectory because that's what people expect and that's what people want out of you, or that's what you think anyway. Because that's the thing, is we get stuck thinking, well, this will hurt my kids, this will, you know, this will impact what my parents think, and you know, things like that. If we change stuff in our life, we think all of these things, and that's how our mind keeps us trapped in old patterns and old beliefs and unable to break free of them. So anyway, I hope that if you find yourself needing to re-examine a few things, that you can do so maybe with a bit more ease than I did. It took me a long time to be able to look at those choices and the changes that I needed to make in the face and just say, okay, I gotta do this. I can't stay trapped in a situation that is not helping me, and I'm only doing it to please everybody else. Because then everybody suffers, and it's not fair to anybody. So I hope maybe you'll consider what's gone on so far in your life and sort of, you know, maybe think about it. I'm not telling you what to do, but it does bear some thought every now and again to just think, well, what have I accomplished so far? What am I happy about? What am I kind of not really happy about? What did I give up on and walk away from? What would make my present feel more fulfilling and satisfying? What can I do to make that more of a reality? And maybe write it down if that helps even, and just, or even like a mind map or something, like anything. It doesn't need to be long sentences even, but just to straighten it out and figure out what your values even are, if if you've not thought about them. They might not be as obvious as we might think, and that's a good place to start. So anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks so much for watching. It means a lot to me. And there's, of course, the YouTube stuff, right? There's a subscribe button and there's a video down there to watch. And I hope that you will. So, I'll see you next time.